Welcome back. Relations between the United States and Pakistan remain under huge strain following a US airstrike last November which killed 24 Pakistani soldiers in the border areas. The US expressed regrets for the death, but it hasn't said sorry. Pakistan has closed its supply routes to NATO troops in Afghanistan as a result. Yet ironically, the two countries need each other's help more than ever as the US seeks a way out of Afghanistan. The Pakistan Foreign Minister, Hina Rabbani Khar, was in London this week, and we talked about this very issue, among others. Foreign Minister, it's a great joy to have you with us. Thank you for being with us today. There are lots of issues to talk about at the moment. One of them, though, I guess, is the strained state of relations with the United States. Do you think that will improve, or is it going to be difficult for a while?
David, I'm quite sure it will improve, and I will tell you why. It will improve because what this relationship has lacked more than anything else is two important things. One is transparency, the other is credibility. We are trying to make this relationship attain both or achieve both of these basic principles, these fundamental principles which are required for us to pursue a track of partnership and cooperation which is sustainable, which is not accident prone. Now, when this review process, as you know, the terms of engagement are being reviewed, and this review process is ongoing in the Pakistani Parliament as we speak. The recommendations are ready by the National Security Committee of the Parliament and will be presented in the joint session of Parliament. Now, when this review process takes place and Parliament gives this relationship its ownership and defines the contours within which this relationship ought to operate, I feel that we will be much more effective partners.
And do you think that, in fact, of the various issues that have made things difficult and sensitive at the moment, that it was more the circumstances surrounding Osama bin Laden, or more the US NATO airstrike in November, which killed 24? Which of those did most to make the situation difficult?
I mean, clearly the response was, let's not, I think it will not be helpful to complicate this further than it is. The response was to the Salalah Incident, to the killing of 24 Pakistani soldiers inside our own territory by what we consider to be our friendly country, friendly allies, a group of countries. Now, however, the series of events which led to that is also important because, David, these were established rules of engagement between Pakistan and its NATO partners. And the established rules of engagement were clearly that, first of all, you must understand that NATO troops are not authorized to work beyond the borders of Afghanistan by the Security Council resolution. So the moment they enter into Pakistani territory, they are doing illegal and unlawful activity, which is not acceptable to Pakistan because it defies every principle, every norm of behavior within international partners. So, but the fact remains that in the last few years, there was a series of activities or attempts to not be very respectful for those rules of engagement. We had said always no unilateral action, that there will be no boots on Pakistani ground. We are there to assist you with whatever information is shared with us. But beyond that, I think, so this was a reaction to yes, maybe a series of events, but the culmination point, what really made the reaction come, was the Salalah incident, obviously.
Do you feel that Pakistan is still owed an apology for that from the United States?
David, we've left that to be considered by the Parliament of Pakistan now, because as you know, Pakistani government did not ask for an apology. We did not formally ask for an apology. Apology at an appropriate time would have certainly helped. But we did not formally ask for it. Now, if the Parliament formally asks for it, I'm sure the United States will consider it.
After that attack, Pakistan closed the NATO ISAF supply routes through Pakistan to Afghanistan. What will change that? Will that continue that way, or?
Again, I'm not I'm not authorized to be able to answer that question because, as I said, the Parliament is looking at all of those things. But yes, and I just want your audience to understand better that this wasn't a reaction from Pakistan to make life difficult for NATO troops in Afghanistan. This was a reaction from Pakistan according to the resolution which was passed by the Parliament of Pakistan, which is, as you know, the eventual repository of the will of people of Pakistan. And this resolution said that we want to be effective partners, we want to be good partners, but we want our sovereignty to be respected. And if there is any other unilateral action inside Pakistani territory, then the government of Pakistan must explore all options, including immediate closing of NATO supply routes. So, to contextualize it, God forbid if Britain, for instance, were to receive 24 body bags one day at the hands of Pakistani soldiers, can you imagine what sort of a reaction there would be? So this is what happened to Pakistan, that at the hand of friendly fire, we lost 24 of our troops. And as you know, we have lost many civilians, many troops before. But but you cannot explain losing troops to, your own partners.
What adjective would be a good adjective to describe the relationship between Pakistan and the United States at the moment? Probably not loving, but warm or difficult, or?
I think finding the ways and means to be able to work together in a way which is sustainable. That is really the key. And therefore, I'm an optimist on this. I'm not a pessimist on this at all. And I'm an optimist on this because I think the space to be able to maneuver, to be able to work as effective partners was contracting, because the US was seen to be in Pakistan increasingly to be following unilateral interests, not mutual interests. Now, if we can, do the necessary changes and be seen to be pursuing mutual interests, those in Pakistan's and United States interest, and I think there are plenty. I think the objective of the United States presence in the region is to pursue peace and stability. Now, can our objective be any different?
Imran Khan told us a few weeks ago on the program that it would take him, he said, just a few weeks to stop terrorism in Pakistan because he'd make peace with the tribal leaders. Would that work?
We've tried to make peace with the tribal leaders for as far as I remember, at different times, at different levels. This is clearly, I would consider it to be for lack of a better word, an extremely simplified view of the reality on the ground, because there's no one tribal leader that you're going to go and make peace with. There are multiplicity of people operating with multiple agendas. There's no one common agenda. There are multiple agendas and all of different hues and colors.
We read that Pakistan is in serious talks with Iran about a gas pipeline between the two countries, at a time when the West and the United States and so on are pushing for greater and greater economic sanctions. Is that that's a future flashpoint, is it? That you're getting closer to Iran and America and Britain would hope you were getting further away?
No, David, we are already close to Iran. We are already close to Afghanistan. We are already close to India. We are already close to China. These are our neighbors.
Yes.
We don't have a choice. We cannot change our geography, right?
Yeah.
Now, with that in the background, the Iran-Pakistan pipeline is not something that was conceived overnight after the sanctions. The Iran-Pakistan pipeline has been worked on for more than 10 years. It has now come to fruition, and hopefully, in the next 18 to 24 months, we will be seeing some gas coming from there. But really, Pakistan is suffering the worst ever from an energy crisis, which is taking a toll on our economic growth, on our industrial growth, on our people continuing to be able to do their jobs. So we have to get whatever energy sources are available, and I'm sure the world will not only support us on it, but also understand it and support us. Yeah.
And do you feel that Afghanistan is getting better, closer to peace, or as difficult as ever, as dangerous as ever?
We keep on reading different assessments. There are some assessments which paint a rather rosy picture. There are others which paint a less than rosy picture, and there are still others which paint a very, very sort of dangerous picture. Now, I think a lot of the Afghan solutions lie within Afghanistan, and it is really for them to determine how they want to see themselves develop or come out of this. the different factions within Afghanistan, the different people within Afghanistan. So clearly what is now obvious is that there is no long-term military solution. There will have to be a political solution. Now the political solution is for the Afghan people to reach out and for everybody else to support. So, we would obviously always hope that more stability rather than less prevails in Afghanistan, because our stability is interlinked with it.
Mr. Gilani said he'd rather go to jail. Prime Minister said that he'd rather go to jail than pursue the case against the President, President Zardari. Could that happen?
We hope not. We hope not, yeah. And, it is important to say at the back of what Mr. Gilani is saying, what he's saying. He's saying that I'm abiding by the Constitution. The Constitution of Pakistan clearly gives immunity to the President of Pakistan and to the 4 governors, by the way, complete immunity. So at the back of that, he said in the court also that he's taken an oath to protect the Constitution of Pakistan, and this comes within that. And he would, so we would hope that, things would, as they are, already normal. But, you're seeing some institutions, all institutions trying to find their real place in the jigsaw puzzle, with new authority, with new independence. And that is, in the long term, going to be a good thing from Pakistan.
And the papers today are full, Foreign Secretary, of stories about Mr. Ijaz, if I'm pronouncing that right, and his testimony in Memogate, in the great Memogate scandal. Is there any danger that Memogate could bring down your government, the Zardari government?
I don't even know what Memogate is, to be quite honest, and I would certainly not want to call it Memogate, meaning it is...
The word gate.
Yes, I know, I fully understand that. But, this is something, a US national writes a story about what he was asked to do by a certain Pakistani official. That official is then named to be the ambassador of Pakistan to the US. That ambassador is removed only because he is considered to have been involved in it, and no implication, nothing has been proven against him, but only on that suspicion, so that because of the fact that he will not be able to carry out his duty with these type of suspicions, he is removed. So where is all of this it's counterproductive, it's clueless, and it's certainly unuseful for the type of challenges that Pakistan has today. We have far too many things to be consumed with as challenges, as real challenges on the ground, than these baseless issues. This government, the President, President Zardari, Prime Minister Gilani, very clear on where their heart is, on what the cornerstone of their foreign policy is. It is to reach out to our neighbors, it is to be able to build peace and trust as much as is possible. It is to bend backwards if we have to, but to really be able to build that trust and be able to live in an environment of peace and stability, so we can concentrate inwards on the prosperity of our people, on the education of our children, on the health facilities our children need, on the job opportunities our future generations need. So this is all, I hope this is something which will be sustained. I see no reason why it will not, because I think there's national consensus in Pakistan today that we have no choice with our neighbors. We have to reach out to each of our neighbors, and we have to build lasting ties with each of our neighbors.
Foreign Minister, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
And a pleasure to have you here.